of the property.
So you're already saying there's already a patio there, so this won't make any difference, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
And the rear door for the existing unit is in the far back corner where that current or the proposed patio is for the unit. So we have an existing entrance to outside that immediately has on our east side the fence line for the adjacent property.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
The previous question that was asked by Councillor Derwin, your reply was, yes, it's something we would consider or we would look at. It wasn't a yes, was it?
If it's pending a yes,
I'm not asking.
I'd be more than happy to say yes.
Yeah.
I feel I can actually meet at an 82 using heat pumps. So the answer is a firm yes.
So long as you're sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm going to live in the property, so part of the whole concept, energy efficiency, so the higher the level, the better.
Once our secretary records it, you're on.
That's fine.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Any members of the public here tonight that would like to address it?
Hi, my name's Adrienne Hughes and I own and live at 34 Lurline. We're a front and back duplex. I'm in the back and the front half is 32 Lurline and that is owned and occupied by Giovanni Alacarn, who could not be here tonight. He asked me if I could come and speak with you at this meeting. And he's already been in touch with Saanich by phone and email expressing his concerns regarding the additional rental suites. Now we thought there could be 2 suites, but I understand that now with the removal of kitchen, it'll only be 1 rental suite on our street, which already has an abundance of suites and concerns about additional parking and such. There's already a duplex across the street, which from what I heard tonight has illegal suites in it, because we thought it was a 4-plex, but apparently it's only a duplex that has suites in it. Our next door neighbor to the west, 40 Lurline, has applied to have this home built in their backyard attached to the existing home, which is a non-conforming up and down duplex. I am most concerned about, and I don't know if anything's changed on this, guys, about the variance being sought for the east side of the property next to our homes. My home's ground level on a crawl space, and although they've told me the windows will be small, their new home will be looking into my bedroom windows, blocking natural daylight and heat I rely on to try and reduce my electric bills. Since I'm in the rear half of the duplex, my backyard is the only outdoor space that I have. I've spent the past few years and most of my savings upgrading this property and trying to create a home I and the neighborhood can be proud of. I've been off work on disability for the past 2.5 years, and I only mention this to support or illustrate the fact that most of my time is spent at home and in my backyard, and I'm not in a financial position to relocate. Quite recently, a new shed was constructed on the property on the northeast corner. Since there's already a large shed on the west side, I imagine the shed was built to support the new home that they want to build. After my neighbor Giovanni mentioned this meeting, I went and had a look at this shed, and for my property, it appears to be about it's about 5 to 7 inches from the fence, 7 inches too short to meet the 48-inch compliance. I was also told my neighbor that our property line is actually further away from their fence towards their property, so this shed may in fact be about a foot in non-compliance. And I am of course concerned that if this property is built and some variances are made, that they may in fact not necessarily be dealt with accordingly if this shed has been put up recently and is not in compliance. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Councilor Murdoch, do you have a question?
I do, thank you, Mr. Chair. One of the points you made was with respect to your windows and privacy, and I just want to confirm that, was your comment with respect to windows in the new dwelling looking into your?
That's correct.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's a matter of privacy, because you also mentioned shading and the heat, and so I just wanted to
Right.
confirm. Okay. And then the other point with respect to the shed was your concern is that if council grants a variance, that the shed will then form part of that variance?
No, sorry, from what I measured today, the shed is not in compliance, that it's been built too close to the property line.
Okay.
And that if that has indeed happened, that what's going to happen with the house? Is it going to be, you know, I'm not going to be running out there with a tape measure every day to make sure that they're not moving a foot closer or 2 feet closer, so I'm just a bit concerned that if a variance is granted, they might push the envelope.
You're making the comparison that the shed proximity to the lot line is indicative of the future house?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Sanders.
Yes, I'd like to ask you the question that I asked the applicant about the patio that's being proposed. Is indeed the location the same? Do they have a patio there now?
There is a patio that they have up that's, if I look over my fence, it's right.
So right at the rear of the existing house now?
Yeah.
Is that correct? And
Yeah.
And that doesn't impose upon you, it's fine?
Well, not so much. I mean, if I'm in one of the bedrooms, I can see their patio, and see them on the patio, and hear them on the patio, but they're still, it's not blocked, it's still light, because it's not enclosed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the same situation would exist then?
I understand so from what they've said.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address this item, please come forward. No one? Council. Councilor Dermott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will move the recommendation for a public hearing. And if I could speak to it. First of all, I would note, as you did, that the applicant has committed to Intergrad 82, which I appreciate and thank him for that. I think if this goes to public hearing and council is supportive, that the applicant might want to take the diagram that he has there and show the relationship to the house that is owned by the last speaker we had, so that council can, apart from having done a site visit, get a good sense of exactly what is happening and also what might be done to address any kind of privacy issues that occur. Beyond that, this is a pretty good place for some limited infill. It is really quite close to services, it's quite close to transit, and and other amenities. So compared to some of the others that have come before us in recent time, this is in a good location to do some limited infill and to add some square footage. And so I'm happy to support it, go to public hearing. The applicant has heard the concerns of the neighbor, and hopefully we'll be able to address those at the public hearing. Thank you.
Councilor Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I certainly think there are good points to this, the closeness to amenities in the right location, the energy efficiency and that. But I do have some concerns. We've had letters from the neighbors. I was out there on the site today and spoke to a neighbor and heard the sentiments of what this neighbor is saying this evening. The existing house is very attractive and very well maintained. And what I particularly feel is that the addition is not particularly sensitive. I think if they followed the architecture of the existing house, it would be more attractive. I think there's a missed opportunity there, and even from the ABP, the Advisory Design Panel, they said the design lacks cohesion, and I feel it does with that flying roof. This is a neighborhood, and I'll be quite honest, there's a lot of hodgepodge here, and I feel that, as I say, the existing house is so attractive, and I think they've missed that opportunity to continue with that, and I do believe it will impact and just be another different character in that neighborhood. Across the road, there is a duplex that's operating as a fourplex, and a house just down from that. It's got 3 families in it, and a lot of harshness and unattractiveness. I'm not that comfortable about the driveway setup, the yard, it wasn't too clear, and the patio situation might be the same, but again, I think there's some opportunities to perhaps change that so there isn't that interaction with the neighborhood or the neighbor. Also with the shed, if we indeed do send this to public hearing, then the shed needs to be shown on this so that you are aware that landscaping doesn't exist. So I'm just concerned about the architectural features, the fact that there seems to be some lack of support or not working with the existing neighborhood and the impact on those close yards. And I'd like to see this become an asset to this neighborhood as the existing house is now. Thank you.
Councilor Murdoch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be supportive of this. I am supportive of this going to public hearing. I am pleased to see the applicant raise their aspirational target to an Energuide 82 at the question of Councillor Dermott. I am sympathetic to the concerns of the neighbor with respect to privacy and the placement of windows, and I'd like them to spend a bit of time on that at the public hearing, because I think that that's certainly important. Anytime there's infill in existing neighborhoods, it's going to be a challenge to try and mitigate the privacy impacts. So a bit of careful consideration on the applicant's part and our part, I think, is warranted as part of the public hearing. I'm supportive of the creation of the duplex or formalization of a duplex in this location. I think in some respects it is a complement to the neighborhood and adds an element of affordability in an area where it makes a lot of sense to do so, just down the street from what is arguably our busiest corridor, and close proximity to good services and public transit as well, of course, the Galloping Goose. So I'm supportive of seeing this move forward, and with the elements I've referenced and others have referenced, I think it will be an interesting discussion at the public hearing.
Councillor Lees.
I liked many features of this proposal, and I also like the concern and the motivation of the applicants to age and live in place in their neighbourhood. I think that's certainly something worthy of support. Interestingly enough, with the comment on privacy and the windows and things like that, I just put out an idea, and this was from my own neighbourhood where a new house went in. They were approved by Saanich, but their windows were overlooking the neighbour's deck and space. So what they did is they frosted that glass, and actually to get more light, they put a skylight in. I just put those out as a few ideas, but I think the overall design, I quite like what I see. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Platt.
Thank you, Chair. I support this as well. I just want to comment on the fact that you've said something that I think is so pragmatic regarding the ducting for solar. Obviously, it isn't cost effective for everybody and a certain size of property, but the vision you're showing by doing that for the time even when perhaps you've moved on out of that residence, I appreciate you thinking forward when it's not a requirement yet in Saanich, I hope. So thank you for doing that.
Council. All in favor? Against? Councillor Sanders against. Carried. To adjourn?
Second.
In camera, in the committee room or here?
We're going to reconvene council, ratify items number 2 and 3, and then a motion to go in camera.
Item 2 and 3?
We'll ratify item 2, which is 4264 Blenkinsop Road. Call the question on that. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. The next item is number 3, 3965 Shelbourne Street, Old Arbor. Call the question on that. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Yes, last item, so I need a motion now to
Go in camera, and then a motion to adjourn.
So I need a motion to adjourn and to go in camera under sections 9.